This is Irontrader, and this is the last call of the day, and actually last call of the week here. So we're going to take a look here at Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly. We're going to take a look here at gold and silver, and then we'll take a look here at crude oil and natural gas, and then we'll take a look here at the indexes, your Dow, S&P, and the old NASDAQ. At the end of the video, the support and resistance levels are posted for crude and natural gas. This video is for information only, not a recommendation to buy, sell, stock, market, ETF. Please like, subscribe. Thanks for watching. All right, here we have Bitcoin, your daily and your weekly chart, okay? Now, first of all, I just want to show you here this RSI here, okay? So what we did is we had this, basically this overbought condition, kind of a situation, and now we're selling off here, okay? So what we did is we lost this consolidation. See how as we had this inverse head and shoulders with a nice double bottom, okay? Then we had a consolidation, and then we sort of had one as long as it was holding that 8-day, but now we lost that situation. So what we're looking for here is this key 21-day at 103.724. Now you can see here where for today we have a little bit of bottoming tail, but that doesn't mean nothing. We've got to see how it's going to shake out Sunday night. That's going to be the key. Now we have a series of lower, and lower highs. That's really never good. Now, they had the big meeting there in Las Vegas, all about the Bitcoin. Even J.D. Vance was speaking on that. So I just think maybe it was just like buy the rumor, sell the news kind of a situation. So the key is going to be is here, holding this key 21-day here on a closing basis, 103.724 level. Now, if that is lost here, then we're going to come down to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 102.930 level. Then we come to the bottom of this candle right here. You're looking at 102.350. We'll come here. We're looking at 101.705. And then we have to the bottom here, you're looking at 101.60 level, okay? Now, if that's lost here, what you always want to do is look to the left of the chart here, because these were the consolidations, but this was the breakout, okay? So that is a 98.615 level. Then we come here to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 97.350 level here. And then we can just follow the candles down 95.640, and then we look to the bottom of this candle here. You look at 95.70 until we hit this old 100 SMA here, sitting at 94.142, and we have the old 50-day sitting at here at 93.863. Now we got to be very, very careful here because that's only if this 21-day here is lost. Okay, so a lot of times here, this 21-day will be like a catch-all, and it should maybe run on up. So I'll give you just the opposite here. So when we had we were following this 8-day down, and so when it rallied up, it went into the 21-day and then pulled back. Into it, pull back. Into it, pull back, okay? Until it didn't anymore, okay? So always look at this. Could be a nice, good catch-all where even if it went down farther than that but closed back up, that could be a good buying opportunity here to take it higher, okay? So now upside what we're watching, we look to yesterday's low. You're looking at 105.565 level. We'll come over here to the bottom of this candle here. You're looking at 106.770. We look at today's high at 107.90. But this is the big boy right here, is this 107.993 level, okay? So we've had a really spectacular run all the way on up here, okay? So now we're really basically trading that 107.993 level on the high side, and we're looking at the 21-day 103.726 there on the downside, okay? So, but we're going to get to these overbought conditions kind of a situation, that there, that's where you want to get out. Okay, now this is a perfect opportunity where you want to get in, and I'll show you why, okay? See how we had this low, okay? We had this low right here. Then we had a lower low, but look at here, okay? We had a higher low. See this positive divergence? That tells you got to get into this trade because she's going to go higher. But when you get to this overbought, that means you got to get out of that trade and it's got to go lower. I'm all out of that IBIT, and it was just a fantastic trade. I mean, just fantastic. But you got to know when to get out. That's the key. Okay, now your green over your red. This is curling over. That shows momentum there to the downside. That's not good. This is falling down. This is nowhere near oversold condition. This could go way on down. But let's just watch that 21-day. That's going to be key. Now, we look here on the weekly chart, okay? So what do we have here? This is what we're always watching, was this 110, 150 level, okay? That was key, all right? Now you can see where it popped all the way up here, 112, 345, but it couldn't hold it, okay? And this week here, we have the red candle, 110, 980, couldn't hold it, and now she's coming on down. But, okay, big but here. See now this 8-day curl up, you went above the 21-day, so this is going to provide really, really good support if it even gets down to this level here. So you're looking at that 98.035 level. But first of all, I say always watch the 21-day, that 103. But if it gets down here lower, watch this 100-day. That's very, very key, that 8-day. And then if that's lost, we can always come down to this 21-day simple moving average. Now, you can see here, where we have actually like a negative divergence here on the weekly. So we have a high, okay, we had a higher high, but we had a lower high here. See this? Negative divergence. So always watch that daily, that weekly, and every so often, every week, you want to watch that monthly chart also. Now, your green is over your red, so it shows it had a good upside momentum here. However, we got to see how this is all going to shake out. So we have some sideways action, but the key is watch that 21 day. If that's lost here, then we're going to go lower. Okay, take a look here now at gold and silver. Okay, gold, silver, not really doing anything. Okay, so basically it looks like a bird sitting on the old power line. Okay, they're just kind of like sitting there. Okay, but if you look at this, actually the price now is holding that 33.16, that 8-day simple moving average. When she sold down, where did it go? Right into the 21 day. Okay, see, this is why you trade the charts. Look how easy this works. Okay, so if you know where it's going, how much money could you make? So we have this sideways action. So the key on the downside is holding that 8-day on a closing basis. Okay, that's going to be very, very key. Okay, that's at 33.17. And then the next level is going to be right here, is that 32.94. And then we'll look to the bottom of yesterday's candle at that 32.69. And then we have your 50-day sitting right here at that 32.35 level. Now, if that is lost here, we'll come to the bottom here, 32.09. We'll come down here. You're looking at 32.07. When we come down to the bottom of this candle here, 31.70, and then we come down here, you're looking at 31.56, and your big retest down here at 31.23. But we have to respect this 50-day because it held and it held. Okay, so anytime it holds more than once, you got to give it the benefit of the doubt that it's going to hold again. Okay, now upside, we want to watch yesterday's high. Very, very key, 33.56, okay? Then we'll come up top of this candle here, look at 33.66. And then we just venture right on up here, 33.77. We have 33.84 level. We have 33.96. Then we'll come on top of this candle here at that 34.22. And then your big retest is at 34.48, which is basically just the top of that candle. Right now, we still have this descending chart, high, lower high, situation. So until we break that trend line and get up to this 34.48 here, we're going to have sideways action. Okay. Now you can see here a MACD kind of like flatline. This here is flatline, not really telling us much. So basically, just watch that 8 and that 21 day. We lose it, we're going to be looking right towards the 50 day. Okay. We look basically at the top of this candle. If we can get above that, we can follow it, the resistance levels, but 34.48 will be your target. Okay. Silver. Kind of like watching paint dry. Not really a whole lot. It's just choppy action. Okay. Now, the key to this is here, we're sitting really about this 33 level. Okay. So you have the 21 day, the 50 day sitting right there. Okay. Your 8 day is just a little bit higher at that 33, but we're all sitting right here. This is all your key support. Now, the big one is going to be this 100 day, which now you can see is curling up. Basic reason is look at it, held. Look at how many times that this thing is held. Look at that bad boy, okay? Now she's curling up, so you got to give this 100-day the benefit of the doubt. Now, if it's lost, then we come down to the 200-day here, 31.82, but give that the benefit of the doubt. Nothing says that if it comes down here, it's not going to hold again, okay? Upside, very easy, 33.91. You got to crack above. That's it. We get above that, then we're going to be looking right here. This is going to be your target, okay? 34.24, that's going to be your level. Then we just venture right on up here, 34.68. We'll come up here at 35 flat and then 35.49. Okay, you crack that, you're going to turtle your way up to 8 to 40 because this is no ball of fire. It isn't like the yoke gold. Now, here we're just sitting really nothing here that could go either way. Same way here with your MACD here. So until we either break this range, which we're trading here now, okay, you got 33.91 on the top, 31.78 on the bottom. Until you break that range up or down, it's just going to be sideways action. Okay, let's take a look here now. Let's see at crude oil and natural gas. Okay, here we have crude oil, here we have natural gas. Now you can see crude oil here. This was actually a very, very nice, good short trade here today. Okay, so we're sitting here, and this is what they call like an indecision candle. Okay, and that's basically what we have, indecision candle. Now, what we're hanging out is right here at this 21 day. Okay, 60.85. Now, if that's lost here, we're going to come down here to today's low, which is basically 59.74. So we're watching this bottom of this candle here at 59.89. Now, OPEC came out here, and it looked like, it kind of looked like they might be dumping on more oil on the market here at 411,000 shares per day. Okay, just to piss off some of those OPEC members because they're overproducing. Okay, so that might be what they're going to be doing here. So we'll know Sunday. Actually, on the 31st is when their meeting is going to have the final decision. So we got to see how that's all going to shake out here. Okay, so again, remember when that price goes lower. Higher, and they start adding crude on the market, that price is going lower. It's just that simple. So right now we have this sideways kind of an action situation, unless we get some kind of a catalyst. Okay. So upside, basically, what you're watching at 61.35. And then we'll be watching here 61.72 level. We come up here, we have 62.14, we have 62.54, and then we have your 50-day sitting right there at 63.04. Now you can see the 50-day declining, 100-day declining, and 200-day declining. Okay, so this here was a spike upward. He said Israel's going to bomb Iran. Well, that is just kind of like a pile of nonsense that never materialized, and she just sideways action. Yesterday we had this rally right on up here. Where'd it go? Right into the 50-day. This is why you trade the charts. Okay, so now we're just kind of hanging out, but we have this indecision candle going on. So we have to make sure that Sunday night we watch and listen to that OPEC meeting here over the weekend and see what happens there Sunday night. It could be a buying opportunity here, maybe even on the short side, okay? So if we start losing this area right here, okay? Now, today we put in that lower low, which I don't like, okay? But again, if we start losing this 59.74 level, then we're going to come right here. This is next, okay, at that 58.76. And then what's next? Right here is 57.74, 57.03, 56.39, and then retest of 55.30. And then here's the big boy at 55.12, okay? So we lose this. It's 53, 50, 47, and you could work your way. There's actually support all the way down at 43 level, okay? So this could come off and come off hard, okay? So right now I have a short position on, okay, and I'm also trading it, okay? Now, if we start rallying up here, we break that 50-day and close above it, that short position will be gone, and, I'll be trading on the long side, okay? But you can do both ways here right now, okay? Like yesterday was a really good trade on the long side, and it was a really good trade on the short side. So this is not a buy and hold in any situation. I have a short position going. I got a small SCO. I got, a couple thousand shares. So it's really like a whole lot of nothing, okay? So just a couple thousand shares going. But if we start losing this area, then I'll add to that position and crank her up to 5,000. We start losing this area here, this 55.12. I'll crank that up to 10,000 shares. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. But right now, we just have sideways action. So when you look at this chart here, even though it isn't really a perfect inverse head and shoulders because this is not the bottom, that's the bottom, but we have a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder, and we have seasonality in play. But when OPEC is saying that, hey, we're going to be popping in, more oil on the market here just to piss off some people in the OPEC, what I'm saying? I think the prices could go lower, but let's just see. That's why we trade the charts. Now, natural gas here was actually a really good short there today. 25.60 on that KOLD on the downside and 26.97 there on the upside. Now, I got 50 cents, and that's all I was looking for on a Friday. Okay, I got 50 cents out of it, trading 5,000 shares. So this worked out really, really nice. Now, you can see where it came down, where to go, right down to the 8-day. See, this is why you trade the old charts. Okay, so on the downside, you're watching that 8-day 341, and the next stop is going to be that 200-day sitting at 3.23, and it's held it very nice. Now, we lose that. You got 309 right here. You got the gap at 305, the fill at 298, and then a retest here at 285. Now, upside right here, very easy. 348, the 21-day, 50-day right above it. At let's see what we got there. At the 50-day is sitting at 353. We rally up above that. Yeah, we can come to the top of this candle, 363, and then we have that 370 and then 384. Right now, I have no position in natural gas. Totally nothing. Not long, not short. I just trade this per day, okay? I feel a lot more comfortable with the shorty on here on the crude. We'll see how it all shakes out the rest of the day, but we have an indecision candle. But when I see people pouring oil on the market, I can't see where you have some kind of a big-time rally. But anyway, this is a trade, okay? Trade. Watch that 8-day. We lose that 8-day. You got the 200-day. We get above that 21-day and that 50-day. We have the 100-day, and we have the old retest. Okay, let's take a look at some indexes here. Okay, here we have the Dow. Now, the Dow is up actually about 3 points, okay? But if you just listen to me, I said, usually the last day of the month is a down day. And right now we have a down day. However, I do want to point out one thing here, okay? Now, might be a good buying opportunity here either later today or Sunday because usually a new month, new money comes in. However, we have all this noise around the tariffs and this and that and all this lawsuits and all this kind of stuff. So that just might not work out. But remember, you always, even if Monday is like a down day, you always have that turnaround Tuesday. But new month, new money comes in here. So always pay attention to that. Okay, so let's just take a look here at the old Dow. Okay, now the Dow, we had this high up here, but you notice it came right on down, and this is why you have to respect this 21 day. Okay, came on down, yeah, went below it. What did it do? Closed above it. Yesterday, right into it. Today, right into it. Okay, so respect this 21 day. This is key. Okay, very, very key. 41, 862. If that's lost, right here, 41,714. Then we look to the bottom of this candle right here, 41,354, and then 41,79, your 50-day. That's what we're looking for, okay? Now, we have the 8-day here, so you kind of pinched everything in there. 42,111, and we have the 100-day sitting right on there at that 42,257. Then we have your 200-day sitting pretty much right here also, okay? You're sitting right there at that 42,406 level. So there's a lot of resistance and there's a lot of support. So we just have the sideways action. We crack above that, you got 42,842. Okay. Now, remember, earnings season is kind of winding down here now. So you have to ask yourself, what's going to be the catalyst to take this market higher? Okay. The catalyst usually is some kind of a earnings or something going on here. So that's what we have to see. Okay. So always just remember that. But respect this 21 day because look here how nice it's held. Okay. Look here how it held. Respect that 21 day, and then we have to look at that 8-day, 100-day, and 200-day. We crack that, and we go to the big boy up here. Now, this never got overbought condition. Came close, but then didn't quite do. Sitting at 56, plenty of room. This is sideways action here. So this is overall not looking really that bad. We just have that sideways action. Now, when we look at the S&P here, pretty much the same thing, okay? So what we're doing is we're still holding this 8-day on a closing basis so far. 58.81, that's going to be key. If we lose that, when we come down here to today's low, 58.43, but we're really looking at it is this 58.10. That is your 21 SMA. Now, your 21 crossed the 50-day, 100-day, 200-day. So this is still looking very good, and that's kind of a catch-all where it could come right on down, just like we had here. See how that 21-day caught that? See how that? Catch-all. Okay. Now, upside here, well, basically what we're looking for is this 59.68, okay? And then we got to see what the reaction was to get there. We go higher, or does that crack on, or this is pretty much it on a sideways action. Now, we got to an right here, overbought condition, came right on down, consolidating to the left, consolidation here. So this is still very, very strong, very, very bullish kind of a chart. Now, if we lose all this key support level, just look to the top of this candle here. This is the gap fill at 56.91. That's going to be your next support before we hit the 50-day, okay? Now, let's look at the old NASDAQ, which is my favorite because it's got all the juice, okay? So we're holding the 8-day like we are in the S&Ps here so far right now, okay? No, 190.24, that's what we're looking for, okay? That's lost. We'll come right down to today's low situation here. You're looking at 18,847, okay? And then we have this nice 21-day at 18,638. So if it comes down here, respect that 21-day, okay? If it loses that, then we have your 200-day and we have your nice 100-day sitting right there about that 18,400 level, okay? So very, very nice. Now, on the upside here, well, we got to really get above this level here, okay? This is that 19,207. If we can go to yesterday's high, which is basically the top of that price channel at 19,389. But right now, we just have some sideways action. We got to see how it all shakes out and see if in June, the first couple, 3 days, let's see if we get some money pouring in. Now, RSI here, see how it got to an overbought condition, and now she's pulling back off here. Okay, kind of a sideways action, and this is here is the same way. We're kind of like flatline. So we got to give this time to shake out, but realistically, you got to crack over that 19,389 to go higher. This here, you got to crack over 59.68 to go higher. This here, you got to do at 842 to go higher. Okay, so just watch these here on a daily basis, and just watch all these key levels of support, especially on the Dow, that 21-day, okay? Same way here on the old S&P and the same way here on the NASDAQ here. Just watch that 21-day. If that's lost here, then we have gap fills. Okay? And then we have 50-day all the way down here. Okay, that's what I got for you, and I'll be back here Sunday night. It'll probably be a little bit later because I got to be out of town over the weekend, but I will have a video for you Sunday night. We'll take a look here at Bitcoin, at gold, and we'll take a look here at crude oil and natural gas as usual. And then we'll take a look at the NASDAQ and see how she's all going to shake out for next week. All right. Hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you Sunday night. Thanks for watching.